So we're at the end of April, excuse me, and the Hillsborough thing has happened, and I did a piece already. I called it Cops #1. So this is Cops #2, about my experience with the police over the years and some of the things that's going on. Hillsborough is a massive thing. My little anecdotes and true stories are, pardon me, nothing like that. I'm just pointing out on the coattails of that big event, and the Liverpool people really showing their grit and showing that they are as steadfast as they come. So you got to take your hat off to Liverpool people. They did not give in. They knew they were right, and they kept at it. And our justice, as what, if at any time in the 25 years following that atrocity of Hillsborough, they had given in. Not when the last inquest was started, but if at any time in the 25 years leading up to that point they'd given in, this would have been buried and never heard of again. Okay, so they've done everyone a favour, except the establishment. So after Hillsborough, I've just got these two stories about my experiences with the police, and I started by saying what I said last time. That being a police officer is an impossible job. Okay, so we start on that basis. That does not in the slightest excuse Hillsborough. It's the usual thing, Hillsborough. As I said to my daughter, who was asking me to explain it this morning to her daughter, doing something is not half so bad as then covering it up. It's the cover-up. It's the Watergate lesson. I thought establishment figures had learned this. It's the Watergate lesson. Yeah, if he'd copped for it, he'd just be a guy that made a mistake and have to hang his head in shame for a while. He'd by now be rehabilitated. But no, the copper in charge, Duckenfield, he kicked off the cover-up. So that's the Watergate lesson. So a few years back, I was driving up towards Leeds, and I'll go through this little town, and there's this, it's in the dark. I seem to recall it's about the time of, it's not November, I think it's October time. It's at that sort of time of year when it's dark quite early, so it's about 7 o'clock. I am 50 minutes early. I'm nearly an hour early for where I'm going. I'm going to see my then girlfriend, who's now my spouse. And I was way early. So I was kind of trying to drive slow, but you know how it is. So there's this queue of cars in front. I thought, so not being in a hurry, I'm waiting there. Now this story basically, because I'll take a while to get to it, I'll tell you what it concerns. It concerns coppers changing my statement and trying to get me into a situation following me helping somebody. An RTA of sorts occurred, and that's what this anecdote is about. So I'm there in my big Citroen XM black thing that floats on hydraulics. I mean, a lovely car, except I only got the hydraulics to work for a week before I sold it. But when I got it to work, it was like a magic carpet ride. Shame it's only for a week. Anyway, so I'm there behind this queue of cars, and they are coming up to this spar shop, and I'm there for a minute or two. I'm thinking, well, okay, I could wait here all night because it'd actually suit me because I'm early, but I'm not gonna. So I looked around the left-hand side. I thought, that's odd. It's clear on the left. We're sat near the centre line, and we'll stop. I don't get it. It's about 5 or 6 cars. So I goes on the left, and I squeezes up the left. I don't think I had to go on the pavement. Maybe I did, but there was no problem. Goes up the left, really slow. It's an automatic car. I'm in first gear, just gently nudging along. I draw abreast with the car that's at the head of the queue, and there's this person lying on the gutter. I can just see him reflected in the lights on the opposite side of the road. I thought, oh, and everyone just seemed to be stopped. I don't know what it. So I thought, okay. So I bumped up on the pavement, nearly opposite the spar shop. Not quite. There's an electrical thing there. If you know where it is, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I bumped up the car, parked up. God. So I kind of directed the cars to go. So they're only going to block this up, and if the ambulance needs to get through, that won't happen then. Okay. So I went to see the guy, and I can't remember if I called first or if I saw the guy first. But whatever I did, very early I called the ambulance. Okay, now that's crucial. So I called the ambulance, then I'm with the guy, and I said to him, "You're all right, mate, you're all right." And right, now I have to explain my background slightly. You're going to think, what has this got to do with it? My whole mindset was set by the fact I'd been through a divorce, which was an enormous piece of betrayal, right? And I truly had not recovered from it. It took me years to go over it. I was not the one who wanted to push off. So to cut a long story short, my outlook is selfish at this time. I am fucking not wanting to help anybody, right? But having seen the guy lying in the gutter, I thought, I can't really leave him, and there's nobody doing anything. So I call the ambulance, I go over, I talk to him, but he's lying there and he's got a head wound. Now, all I know about head wounds is you don't move people, you wait till the ambulance arrives, or somebody with medical expertise. Okay. I'll fast forward. 25 minutes goes on, or 20 minutes goes on, or 15 minutes, something like that, a reasonable period of time. Nothing's happened. Now, I know the ambulance station is just 300 yards up the road. So I call the ambulance again. This is on my fire service phone. I happen to work in a civilian department of the fire service, so I called them again. Then I go back to the guy. I think, bloody hell. So another 15, 20 minutes pass. I called the ambulance a third time. Now, the second time I called them, they were pretty pissed. By the third time I call them, I know they're going to be pissed, but I think, well, what else can I do? It's like the message hasn't got through. So I call them again. I say, look, this is like nearly an hour now. This guy, I said, it was okay for you to be in a rush. I said, I don't get it. And they said, the ambulance has been dispatched. Now, please, sir, stop calling us. Or what's that effect? I thought that's the last time I'm calling them, no matter what. This is all coloured by two things: my mindset and their incompetence. Okay, so I'm still waiting with the guy. I won't go till the ambulance arrives. I wasn't as good as I could have been, but God, I was there, and I called 3 times for the ambulance in 55 minutes. Which, see, an hour is a special time for the ambulance service, so this is what makes me very suspicious about what they were doing. 55 minutes after I made the first call, the ambulance turns up. They get the guy, put him in. Okay. The police also arrive. They chalk around my car. Now, my car is right opposite, obviously, where the incident is, because that's why I stopped. See, I was at the head of the traffic, and I could have just driven on. The lesson I took from that for the next 10 years was drive fuck on. Right, honest to God, that incident, because of what happened afterward that I'm about to tell you about, that said to me, next time, just drive on, put the foot down and just keep going. They chalked around my car, and they took a great deal of interest in the positioning of my car, because my vehicle was the only one in the same location from 55 minutes earlier, because I got out and stayed with the guy while the ambulance was supposedly on its way. This no good deed goes unpunished. Right, so fast forward a couple of months, might have been 3 months. 2 coppers arrive at my door, and I'm there with my spouse on the sofa. Basically, cut a long story short, they want a statement. And I thought, God, it's quite a long time down the road. Okay. They then put me under caution. This is what they talk about the Hillsborough cops. They say when they're interviewed under criminal caution. I was given that criminal caution. And I looked at my spouse and I held her hand in mine and I thought, what the hell is this about? Okay. So I'm kind of on Amber Alert now. What it amounts to was they wanted a statement from me about what had happened. I gave them that statement. The policewoman wrote it down. For reasons that I won't go into, the policewoman wrote it down. I was okay with it. She said, look over that statement, please, which is about a page and a half, and then, sign it. So I looked it over. Now, there's a particular bit where I describe going past the queue of traffic Now, this is completely irrelevant to what happened to that poor old guy. That old guy got knocked down by somebody who then left the scene in their car. That much seems clear. But they were looking for somebody to put in the frame, and you'll find out why in a minute. So I got this thing, and my words to them, because I'd realised that this might be an issue, I was very careful how I worded it. Remember I told you I was in first gear in the automatic? I was. So I went along and just literally nosed past. So I said trickled past the queue of vehicles. They had written drove past. Now there's no way that the policewoman got that wrong. I made it very clear how slowly I had gone by. And I thought to myself, with that one word change, she puts a big red circle round my name regarding this incident. This is 1998, I think. And I thought, yeah, nice. I said, no, that's not correct. She said, oh, in an offhand way, she said, oh, well, you know, that's what you said. I said, no, I didn't say that. And so I scored it out, initialed it, and wrote the proper word, the phrase trickled by, and signed it. They then informed me that the poor old bloke had had a heart attack when he finally got, after an hour of lying outside in the freezing cold. He had a heart attack when he finally got to the hospital. Now that's the story they're telling me. He could have had a heart attack while he was lying there. Nobody's going to tell you that, because that put the ambulance crew in the frame. The reason why I mention this now is because it was triggered by what everybody said about the Hillsborough thing. The Hillsborough cover-up, the Hillsborough mistake, the Hillsborough lie. That the ambulance crews were quite incompetent stroke to blame as much as the police were. And it immediately triggered in me this memory. Because I thought, God, that is exactly the situation that occurred when I was trying to help that guy. When I was calling 3 times for the ambulance and refused to go until the ambulance had arrived. You know, there's plenty of people might have driven straight by. They could pretend they didn't see anything. He was just barely visible in the gutter. I could have just looked straight ahead. Yeah. For 10 years after that, I did. Because, hell, I was going up the motorway one time going to Scotland, and somewhere near the borders, there was some accident. There was an upturned car. There were umpteen cars parked, so there are obviously people dealing with it already. And there were other cars right in the middle of the motorway in a fog-bound motorway. I slowed down. As I came through it, I thought, oh, I wonder if anyone needs help. And then I thought about that incident. I put the foot down and disappeared. And I make no bones about it, and I ain't ashamed about it. And that incident with those police officers, that policewoman and that policeman, that incident is directly the root of why I put that foot down on that occasion. I don't think anyone died because of that, because there were 3 or 4 cars lined up. But you know what? I'd take that on chin as well. Nobody is going to help people if what happens after that is someone tries to frame you for the serious injury, stroke, heart attack, death of somebody who you tried to help. It was the ambulance crew didn't make it. And we all know the ambulance station, the cops know this, the ambulance station was just 300 yards from where the incident was. But they wanted some putz to drop the blame on for something a couple of months later. I wonder if the guy had a heart attack, and then subsequent to that, his health has gone downhill, then he's died. That would make a lot of sense. They wouldn't tell me he had died, you see. They'd want to keep that secret because they wouldn't want me to know how serious it was. And the more I think about it over time, the more I think that's what happened. That's what would drive them to come to my door. And the family, I can imagine, would be upset. But I don't think the family would be upset with somebody who stopped and resolutely kept calling the ambulance service, despite the ambulance service saying, go away, and was the only guy who stayed with their father or whatever, husband or whatever it was for 55 minutes that it took from start to finish till the ambulance arrived. So I don't know what the police's game was, but they really dearly wanted someone to pin this on, and that is just sickening. And if you think that sort of thing doesn't happen, they changed my statement. They told me some lies. I think the guy had died, and they didn't want to tell me that because then I'd know how serious it was. And then they wanted to frame me for it. And right from minute 1, they had my car chalked out of that scene. And yet I bet you nobody's factored in the fact the ambulance took 55 minutes, even though it's a 15-minute walk to the ambulance station at that time from the scene of that incident at that spar shop. Sickening, yeah. But them being upset about it I could understand, but who are they upset with? And why on earth would they want to frame me for it? I have no idea. So remember this, sometimes, not always, I help people now like I used to, but sometimes no good deed goes unpunished. That Hillsborough thing, they need to get at the bottom of it. If those police were willing to give me a caution, who stood by somebody for 55 minutes while the life leaked out of them, while the ambulance took its time arriving, if they wanted to caution me, the person that helped, then I'm damn sure they should be cautioning the ex-chief or whatever it was, Duckenfield and so on, of South Yorkshire Police about the Hillsborough incident. Thanks very much for watching and listening.